What's going on, people? Welcome to the opposition preview. We've been talking about this game for a long time, and here it is. It is time to face Aston Villa in the FA Cup semi-final. Luke and I will be going to Wembley, but we thought, you know what, before the game, let's link up once again and have a chat about the game and the big occasion for both sides. As always, make sure to check out UTV Fan Channel. The link will be in the description down below, as well as dropping a like and subscribing if you're new to the channel. Luke, massive one for Palace, but just quickly, I mean, how big is it for Aston Villa?
Mate, it's massive. Like, we haven't won a trophy since 1996. So 95-96 season. That was the League Cup. So it's been a long time since we've touched any silverware. We've got a good record in the FA Cup of, like, we've won it 7 times, but the last time we won it was in 1957. So from that period, we were tearing the FA Cup up, really. But ever since, we've reached the final in 2000 and 2015, not been able to win it. So it's big for Villa fans to hopefully try and get this FA Cup. So it's a massive game, and you know it's massive for the fan base because, like I say, it's been such a long time. And then we've sort of got, you know, Champions League, and football's really weird at the minute. How, you know, winning the FA Cup it is great for fans, but for the club, like, they'd rather finish in the Champions League and get all of that Champions League money. I mean, we've probably bagged about 80 million from this Champions League campaign. Crazy. And through winning the FA Cup, you're probably going to get about 3 million. So, like, financially, it's mad. So, yeah, it's yeah, I'm looking forward to it, though. Like, you can't beat Wembley. You can't beat a domestic semi-final, final. So, great occasion. Great sets of fans that will be, you know, loving it, really.
Yeah, I think we'll be up for it. Your fans will be up for it as well. Like, we're both going into this game with good mood, looking forward to it. And as you said, I think it means more for the fans than the overall. I think for Palace, it means a lot. Anyways, we don't have Champions League football. It means a lot for the club, for the fans. We haven't won a domestic trophy. You're talking since the 1950s, but imagine not winning a trophy in your existence. That's where Palace are at right now. So for us, we'll take anything. We'll take anything. And the FA Cup is a massive occasion, especially with Oliver Glasner at the football club. And he's a manager, for example, who's won the Europa League before and has got that experience of winning a trophy. So we're going into this game thinking we've got a manager that's won trophies. Your manager, of course, has done it in European stage as well, and he's won trophies. So overall, we'll be happy. But you mentioned the Champions League. Do you think that could play a part? Because I saw the game against City, last-minute goal that you conceded. I don't know how much of an impact that will have. It's still the FA Cup semi-final, so I think the players will pick it up. But do you think the players are thinking about that in the background? Because we don't have a similar situation like you do. And it's a lot of money as well for grabs.
Yeah, I think Emery has always prioritised the league. It's been his first thing he always says is Premier League's a priority. You know, that's where you get Europe. But I think as the season has evolved, your priorities sometimes change from what they were at the start. You know, when Emery first came into Villa, he mentioned that he wanted to get us into Europe and he wanted to win a trophy. And now we're at this phase where, you know, you're a game away from competing for a trophy. So he'll take it really seriously. With the beauty of Villa at the minute is that we've got no injuries. So at the start of the season, we had a lot of injuries, players missing. We're having to, like, move players around, like McGinn playing in central midfield. And now we've got everybody fit that he can completely rotate, and that's what he's been able to do. Some games he'll start Rashford, some games Watkins, some games Luca Dean, some games Maatsen. So we really just work with the opposition and who we're playing and what players are better suited for that opposition. So yeah, he'll take it really seriously. I think this is the next phase of our season to try and get to the final, really.
Yeah. And I think, as you said, he wants to win a trophy. That's the biggest thing. Like, he will leave a legacy there if he does win the FA Cup. And that's with Oliver Glasner. He spoke about the memories and the moments, you know, even from the Fulham game in the quarterfinals. He kind of got the vibe there, how much it means to the fan base and the club for us to get this far. So we would want to continue as well. But let's talk about our most recent game, that 4-1. Was that
We have
surprising?
to.
Surprised me, not in terms of the result was a massive surprise, but the fact that Emery changed his system. I don't know if he's done that many times this season.
No.
But he went back three to try and match up Palace. It went wrong. Is he is Glasner in Emery's head? Is that what's going on? What's happening? Because
I'll be honest.
I've never seen
I'll be honest. I think for that game he was. I think we'd obviously got battered at your place last season. Like we were on the beach, weren't we? Like Champions League was confirmed. Like we, so that game I think we chucked it basically, and then you knocked us out the cup, didn't you? So we played a rotated team, probably as you did as well, and we weren't great there. Then we had the one at the league where your sort of style we was going through a phase during the season where teams that played on transition we were really struggling against, like teams like Bournemouth and Wolves, Forest, etc. That sort of don't have as much of the ball, beat our high line that we were playing at the time. We was really struggling. We got done by you basically, and we drew 2-2. And when we went to your place, and he went 5 at the back, and what he normally does is he'll do a bit of like a hybrid 3 at the back. So we'll have 2 centre halves, and Cash will go forward, and Kamara will make a back 3, and that's how we sometimes will play with like a similar style. But when we went to Selhurst Park and he played Leon Bailey as a wing back, it was an absolute disaster, mate. And yeah, I remember doing my reaction at the time and said, like, why has he done that? He didn't need to do it back. And I think Glasner came out and said, like, it took us a bit of time to adapt because we didn't expect it. And then you adapted and you beat us, really. So I think he was in his head a little bit. And I think, so far, Emery's not beat Glasner. So I just, from a Villa point of view, I just hope we treat it like a home game and approach it normal. You've got massive threats, and the way that you play sometimes he's kind of suited to a blueprint on how to beat Villa. Sit back on transition, get it into Mateta, you get Eze and Sarr running off, etc. So from that point of view, that's sometimes how we can see goals. So I think the fan base is a little bit sort of like, no one wants to play Man City, but we don't want to play you either, like, because of, of the record.
Interesting because, and I don't mean this with any disrespect, I think you got better players than us, you got a better squad than us, and Emery's of course won more European trophies than Glasner, but I think it just comes down to the system. Despite you being a better team than Palace, I think when you come up against certain systems, and this is with Palace as well, for example, if teams are sitting back like the Southamptons, etc., that's when we might struggle. But when we're facing teams with spacing behind and with high line, then that helps us to transition and counter attack. So yeah, like there are certain teams, and we're talking about this between us as Palace fans, looking at this game about what if this game suits us, what we can do. It does in that aspect, but do you expect him to go back to basics then, Emery, or can we expect another shuffle? I don't know after the last game.
I don't think there'll be anything different from the way that we've currently been playing. I think when we played you at Selhurst Park, we then went on a 5-game winning streak. So I imagine that what happened there was a real sort of coming together. Our squad can just reset and focus and sort of say that type of game doesn't happen again this season. And we went on, we then went from your place. We then went away to Brentford and won. We then played Brighton. We went away to Brighton. We then beat Newcastle. So we've beat beat Forest at home. So we've beat some top teams that are competing in and around us, which has been really pleasing. And I think after your game, we then started to get all of our players back, which is a big bonus of sort of saying, okay, Kamara's in the middle with Tielemans and Onana's come back into it. So I think you beating us has probably helped us focus for the last part of the season, really. But I think it'll be general how we try and play. I think we've sort of got two different styles. Like away from home, what we tried to do against City was just contain them and have the ball, slow it down completely. And whereas at home, we could just steamroll through Newcastle. So
yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
I,
very
I
impressive.
kind of feel like if we treat it like a home game, then that's better for us, because I feel like if we try and be quite slow and ponderous on the ball and you set little traps and hit us on trend, it just plays into your hands really. So,
Mm.
so from my point of view, I hope we sort of just go from it from the start, really.
Yeah, yeah, and I think you will after. I don't think you'll be playing another back five after what happened
No,
last Sellers Park. So I guess the positive for you in that aspect is that you've kind of got that out of the way, and we've kind of needed a reset as well. So I understand it. We got, of course, the City game and the Newcastle game. 10 goals conceded in 2 games. We were like, what on earth is going on? We were the best side, I think, in the league in terms of goals conceded away from home. 12 before those games all season long, and we conceded 10 in 2. And then we went back to basics against Bournemouth. We kept the clean sheet with 10 men for the majority of the game. And most recently against Arsenal, they scored 2 goals, but I think they only had 2 shots on target. And the only players that weren't starting in terms of the strongest 11 was Saka and Moreno. When Saka came on, was still, once again, very good defensively. So we've kind of needed that reset to bring us down to earth, because I feel like this game was lingering on the players' minds. And it was kind of having an impact ever since the Fulham game. Like we weren't at 100%, and we just needed to sit down and say, what on earth is going on? And we've kind of solved it in that aspect. But as you said, I'm expecting a different challenge, and you are one of the most informed sides in Europe. So is it a case of now like continuing that momentum? Is there that belief? You said that you have struggled against Palace and maybe Glasner, but are you thinking as a fan carrying that momentum that we can still go and get the job done? Is that what's giving you confidence?
yeah, I mean, we've played really well recently. We came up against some. A lot of people have been looking at Villa's fixtures and they've been saying, "Oh, Villa have got the most difficult fixtures in the Champions League running," but we've been able to beat all of the teams around us. Like I say, we beat Brighton when they were 2 points above us. We beat Forest, beat Newcastle. So we against the better teams, we've been able to sort of like step up and perform. And that Newcastle game, to do that against Newcastle, who were on a 5-game winning run as well, was really pleasing. So I think as a fan at the minute, like we go into every game now thinking that we can win, because we've shown that we can beat
you can.
the best
You are doing
the best teams in the league. So as a fan, but I think from this game point of view, we know what you guys can do to us. So I think we're a bit like, we've got to be at our very, very best, and we've got to step up and we've got to rise to the occasion, because it's a big game, isn't it? Everybody's watching. It's 5:15, and it's who handles the occasion the best, who can step up to it really. And you've got players that I think are born for these moments, like Eze. I mean, he can have a couple of quiet games and then just bang one bottom top corner out of nowhere. And Mateta's like lethal at the minute as well. So you've got some quality players that can cause some damage. So we've just got to be making sure that we get our game plan spot on to deal with you really. And I do think Emery's got a lot of data to go off there. Like we've played you like 3 times already this season, so he's got to have found a way. Surely,
exactly. Look, teams have figured us out. If you look at the Newcastle and the City game, you could say, I don't know, it was both of those games was just unusual because we've never been that bad defensively. But if Emery looks at those games and maybe tries to implement a few things from there, exactly, like that might be the way to figure us out. But in terms of the actual players, as I said at the start, I think you got a great 11 plus squad. Who should we look out for? Who's the players that are most informed? I saw Rashford, he scored a penalty. I think he's been great for you lot since signing on loan. But is it him? Is it McGinn? I think McGinn caused us problems in the previous home game when we beat 4-1 until we brought on Lerma instead of Hughes. I think he was running around Hughes. So who do we look out for Palace?
I think we've got a few system players that are really ticking at the minute. So Tielemans is playing so well this season, so under the radar. He's played every game for Villa, and he's been just absolutely quality. Stepped up from where Douglas Luiz left in the summer, so he's been great. Kamara's really good. Rodgers has been playing really well for Villa this season. You know, ball carrying the ball, doing really well. And then up top, it's who does he go with, Rashford or Watkins? And that's the big Villa debate. We don't know who he's going to go with. A lot of people are thinking Watkins. I actually think it might be Rashford. So in that aspect, you know, those are probably our standout players. But because we've got so many options at the minute, it's difficult to pick the Villa team. Onana could play, McGinn could play, Ramsey.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, like our squad and our bench it's a joke at the minute, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We looked at it for the City game. I'm pretty sure Glasgow watched it. I watched it, and you look at the bench. I mean, the bench players could easily start for a lot of Premier League sides. So you're set up perfectly because I think of the Champions League, and that's probably the reason why you want to get back into it, because you can have squad depths like this and attract these kinds of players. But between you, Rashford and Watkins, who would you rather have?
See. So most people are saying Watkins, but I think Rashford's going to start, because I just feel like, to go off what's happened previously. So Rashford started both PSG games. So our biggest game in nearly 40 years, in the quarterfinal of the Champions League, and he starts Rashford twice. So I'm kind of feeling like this is a big game as well. Surely he'll stick with Rashford. That's my thinking anyway.
Yeah,
it's such a tough call because both have got, you know, benefits and stuff. But I just feel like at the minute Emery's really favouring Rashford. Rashford was brought in to play on the left. We didn't really bring Rashford in to play him as a striker, and Emery sort of drifted him now to being like a striker. So we've got to a point each game now where it's like it's Rashford or Watkins. So we're back to sort of like Duran or Watkins. So I think it might be Rashford because, you know, he's a big time player, isn't he? He steps up, he scores big goals, and he can handle big occasions. So I'd go with Rashford.
Yeah, look, it's even if Rashford doesn't work out, you can bring on Ollie Watkins off the bench. Like, it's not a bad situation to be in, and that's a good thing. Rodgers is another one I'm looking at as well. He's, you know, once he gets on the ball, he can be electric. I think he's been having a great season for you lot. But where do you think the game can be won and lost then, from what you've seen in the previous two games? What do you think Villa needs to do better? Is it like the midfield? Is it the defense?
So I feel like midfield is key. So obviously you're probably going to go with Wharton and Hughes, or Wharton and Lerma maybe.
Yeah, exactly. We're a bit unsure as well. But it'll be Wharton, and I don't know if it'll be Hughes or Lerma. So Lerma started in defence against Arsenal because Chris Richards was suspended. So it's unsure to see how he's thinking. Richards will come back into the defence. Now, for me, from the previous game, I remember Hughes had to come off and Lerma came on because McGinn was just running around him. Now, is he going to look at that game? I think he 100% will, and say, I'm going to start with Lerma to have a bit of physicality. Yeah. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I think that battle of, from a Villa point of view, overpowering your midfield is key, really. So if it's Tielemans, Kamara, we might go with McGinn in there somewhere as well, winning that battle, pushing you further back, keeping your wing backs pinged back, having sustained possession, Villa dominating the ball, control of the game. That's something that we will need to do. But then with that, you guys on transition with Eze, Sarr, Mateta, we've seen it time and time again. So that's like the area that we need to be wary of, I think. And what I've done a preview as well for the game, and we've both, I think we're top of set piece goals and you're second by about a goal, or we might be level, I'm not sure. So we're both very, very good at scoring against set pieces, and I think we've conceded 6 goals. We've conceded 5, which is one of the best records from set pieces as well. So, you know, set pieces, it's crucial, you know. So we're both very, very good at attacking and defending them. So I think that's going to be
against you. in any of the games this season?
Selhurst Park, it was more like a second phase. Wharton whipped it in, and was
Oh
it
yeah, Richard.
Richards? Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah. Second phase. Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of like
yeah.
a set piece, but I think I don't think that
It
counts
wasn't
because it was
directly.
like,
Yeah, it wasn't
yeah, it was
directly.
like a second phase. So,
Yeah,
you know, both very good at that. So, you know, one of us could score off that, one of us could concede, and our set piece coach, you know, obviously we're looking at that. So, yeah, I do think it'll be tight, and it's just going to be who steps up really, who
yeah.
wants it more, who's got the quality.
Yeah, and I think it's important to understand the occasion. And Glasgow said it as well after the Arsenal game. Like, let's not. It's still a football match, 11 versus 11. Don't get too ahead of yourself. Don't make the game bigger than it should be. It's a semi-final. It's a football. Like, tone it down, and you know that's where experience comes to play. I think a few of your players, of course, all of them this season played in Champions League, so that definitely helps. And from our end, Wembley, big occasion. These players have played at Wembley before. Eze, Gahey, Henderson. We've had Mitchell, who's played a semi-final most recently. Was in a semi-final under Vieira. So we've still got experienced players, Adam Wharton. So I think for both sets of players, they understand, like, it's not like, how do I say this with respect? It's not like, let's say, a Preston or something going to Wembley. It's like, you know, these are top international players that have played at the top level. So I don't think that should be a major problem. It's just about start of the game, keeping your nerves, and then I think it'll be a good tactical battle. I really do, because I don't think Glasgow knows how Emery's going to set up. Maybe he's got an idea. As you said, you're playing very good right now in a particular system, so he might go with that. But yeah, you know how Palace are going to set up. It's just about the pressing triggers and this and that, like everything. It's going to be very precise. It's going to be very precise. I'm not going to ask you for a score prediction. I always do, but I'm not. I'm just not. There's no. I don't want to put you in that position. I don't want to put myself in that position. So I'm just going to ignore the score predictions. All I have to say is let the best team win, and hopefully, best of luck for the rest of the season after this game. And look, even speaking about it, you might be in the final. One of us going to be in the final, but yeah, like after this, I don't have any problems with Villa. I like them. So yeah, let's see what happens on the day.
Yeah, and hopefully we only play each other twice next season. So I'm sick of playing you because you keep beating us. So
exactly. Let's see. But if you have enjoyed this, drop a like, subscribe, and make sure to check out UTV Villa Fan Channel for more Aston Villa content. And that's it from us. And until next time, up the Palace.